Hello everyone, my name is Jack and I have just finished watching episode 1 of House of the Dragon, and it's okay. I mean, it's not on par with the rest of like Game of Thrones, except for the last season, but yeah, this episode was kind of boring. Not much happens in it, and when the stuff does happen, it's not really that intriguing or engaging. The acting was kind of bland. There was not anyone who truly stood out for me in terms of how good of an actor they were, apart from, of course, Matt Smith and the king in this. But yeah, everyone else seemed kind of flat to me. Now, this is not to say that it's all completely bad. I want to actually highlight this particular scene with this particular dragon, which I think is really good. I like this dragon's design. You know, him having a like webbed kind of feet look. It kind of reminds me of a pterodactyl or a feathered dinosaur that was discovered in China. But apart from that, there's not really much to say about this episode, except for the occasional lines that hint about what's going to happen in future episodes. For example, you have right at the beginning, you have the discussion of succession between a male heir and a female heir, and the male heir is picked, and the narrator goes and says a woman will not ascend to the Iron Throne. And when she said that, I was just like, oh, here we go. Yeah, it's already hinting. And I was looking forward to this to this episode, because I thought, all right, they're having this right now. It's going to go and be very, very woke. And to my surprise, it wasn't really that woke. There was another, like, kind of hint to, again, what's going to happen in future, like, episodes, where the princess talks about how she wants to serve as a knight and go around, you know, protecting the kingdom on her dragon, but she's also upset about not being the heir to her father's kingdom, and how he's always wanted to have a male heir. And, you know, again, there was hints of the wokeness. But overall, I was actually kind of surprised that they held back so much in this episode. But, saying that, I know for a fact that in the trailers that I have seen, they do mention a lot of things. Right, so the hint is there. The hint is there that future episodes are going to get much worse. But, you know, again, to be fair, this episode was not woke, but boring. At least to me. You know, maybe people will disagree, maybe people will comment and say, oh, I actually thought that this episode was really good, on par with Game of Thrones. But to me, when I saw this episode, it didn't engage me, right? It wasn't like how I first saw the first episode or even the first season of Game of Thrones. As soon as I saw the first season, I was hooked. I wanted to see every single episode of every single season thereafter. And it was the same thing with Stranger Things, and then later on when people were saying, oh, Stranger Things season 4 is, really, really good. You need to go and see it. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And then I watched the first episode and I was just like, I've got to see every episode of season 4, like the stories, the actors, I wanted to go and experience it because of how good the story and acting was. Same thing with Squid Games. A season where people you had to read subtitles, and yet I was still engaged. I wanted to see where this story was going. I was happy with Squid Games, and at times I had to pause my computer to read some of the subtitles because I'm not a particularly fast reader, but I was still engaged. I still wanted to see every episode, and I did literally binge watch it because I was so engaged in it. But with this episode, I wasn't really engaged. I didn't feel anything. If anything, I just thought, oh, this is just going to be quite a boring review. And I think that is probably the biggest take to take from this episode. It was not engaging. Now again, this is just my own personal opinion. Maybe other people will disagree, and if you disagree, please leave a comment. But if you agree with me, leave a like. And if you want me to continue to do more episodes on this House of the Dragon series, then subscribe, because I'm going to finish the rest of the season, because I know for a fact that whilst this particular episode and future episodes might not be on par with Game of Thrones, or at least they'll be better than the last season of Game of Thrones, but whilst this season is not going to be as good as Game of Thrones, it's going to be a hell a lot better than Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. Because I know for a fact Rings of Power is going to be a shit show. And that's going to be my next review. So yeah, if you've got anything you want to talk about, please leave a comment. If you like my things, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.